Hello, and welcome to the Daily Debrief Download, an audio series taking you through the breaking news and the biggest stories from the Oceanographic newsroom. I'm Rob Hutchins, news editor here at Oceanographic magazine, and in this episode, I'll be leading us on a deeper dive into just one story from today's leading headlines. Running 35 miles through both West and East Sussex to the historic town of Newhaven on the southeast coast of England and exiting onto the English Channel, the River Ouse may be one of 4 British rivers to share the same name, but it's its only one, thanks to a groundbreaking new development, to be granted its own legal rights. Yes, in what has been billed a major step forward in the UK's environmental movement, this River Ouse now joins a small but profound international collection of rivers to be recognised as living entities, granted by local authorities the intrinsic right to exist. It all follows on from the successful models implemented in New Zealand, Canada and Colombia, where under the rights of nature movements, rivers such as the Wanganui in New Zealand have been granted the rights to flow, thrive and crucially be free from pollution. And who's to thank for such a pioneering stride forward for the protection of nature here in Great Britain? Well, that would be down to those residing in the historic county town of East Sussex itself, Lewes. Covering just 11 square kilometres with a population of little more than 100,000, Lewes is, by any estimation, a small place, but one, it would seem, with a big mindset. In fact, it's hoped that what's taken place here in Lewes the past couple of years as campaigners worked the trail to deliver legal rights to the River Ouse could set a new precedent and provide the blueprint for rivers now across the UK. There's no doubt that this is a momentous moment for not only the River Ouse, but for the message sent across the country that polluters and those acting against the best interests of the health of UK waterways ought to be, and now can be, held to high account. But how big is the issue here in the UK right now? And why is granting a river like the Ouse its own legal rights the first step to countering it? Well, it's no secret, or should we say it's no longer a secret, that Britain's rivers are facing numerous challenges from pollution, climate change, overuse, and development, all of which are directly impacting water quality and their ability to support the life dependent upon the habitats they provide. According to the river pollution tracking platform Top of the Poops, established to monitor the reported pollution events carried out on waterways across the UK, the River Ouse was subjected to 63 counts of polluting behaviour, totalling some 442 hours of exposure across 4 sites in 2023, all of it carried out by Anglian Water. But this is just a snapshot of the plight British waterways currently face. The UK is currently ranked bottom in Europe for its bathing water quality, with rivers struggling under the effects of pollution. In fact, just 14% of British rivers currently meet good environmental standards, while none of them reach good chemical status. Looking at a live pollution map of the UK built by the river and ocean health activist group Surfers Against Sewage, Newhaven Beach, where the River Ouse meets the English Channel, is currently in a state of good health, safe for bathing. 30 minutes down the road, however, and at Eastbourne, a popular British coastal destination, and the website Sewage Alert advises the public to stay out of its waters to avoid the risk of becoming seriously ill. Alerts like this pop up routinely across the country each day. In fact, privatised water companies in England and Wales have been heavily criticised for failing to prevent the pollution of waterways, and last year it was reported that sewage spills into England's rivers and seas more than doubled over the course of 2023. According to the Environment Agency, 2023 recorded 3.6 million hours of spills compared to the 1.75 million hours in 2022. While there are, in the case of extreme weather, circumstances that exempt water companies to a degree, the agency has put on record that it should not affect water companies' real responsibility to manage storm overflows in line with legal requirements. But it's activity like this that has reduced many of the UK's waterways to little more than a dangerous cocktail of sewage, agricultural waste, and plastic. With a new precedent being set, however, by the legal rights granted to the River Ouse, it's hoped that this is the first step to making descriptions like this a thing of the past. So what levels of protections could the people of Lewes and West and East Sussex come to expect for their River Ouse? Well, let's look to other international cases in which rivers have been granted legal rights for signs of what's to come. New Zealand has historically been forward-thinking when it comes to expanding the scope of legal rights and interests, and in 2017, the New Zealand Parliament expanded those rights to the Wanganui River. In its message to the indigenous Maori of the Wanganui River, it was declared an indivisible and living whole, comprising the Wanganui River from the mountains to the sea, incorporating all its physical and metaphysical elements. In other words, the river had been recognized and declared to have all the rights, duties, and liabilities of a legal person. In New Zealand, as elsewhere around the world, rights of nature are intricately bound with indigenous rights and interests, acknowledging the interconnectedness and interrelationship of living things and non-living things. Recognizing the river as a legal person implies a legal recognition of this kinship relationship. In this way, it also facilitates the progression of law itself to a more ecological paradigm, one which can fully acknowledge the importance of systems and then actually accept that our legal duties can extend beyond only respecting the interests of other human beings. There is a crucial role now played by what is called a tapu tupua, or the human face of the River Wanganui, two individuals elected to speak for the river and enforce its rights when required to. Clearly, not all of this will translate directly to the River Ouse here in the UK, but the method does share some similarities. Now championed by those at Lewes District Council and co-developed with a local campaign group, Love Our Ouse, the declaration agreed upon will deliver 8 new rights to the British River. These include its right to be free from pollution, that it is essential for ensuring life, including human life, and has a right to native biodiversity. The campaign led by Love Our Ouse has been widely celebrated by environmental groups across Sussex, as well as Lewes District Council itself, who hopes the support shown in this small historic English town will mark another step on the journey to change the conversation and one day bring changes to the law that will mean the interests of nature are fully recognised. The next step for this campaign will be the full implementation of the Charter to see the river's voice fully articulated. Lewes locals believe this to be just the beginning of a journey to give their river that voice and ensure its well-being for future generations to come. If you'd like to learn more about this story or other stories on the successful rights of nature campaigns from around the world, head to the Oceanographic Newsroom. This has been the Daily Debrief Download. I've been Rob Hutchins. Thank you for listening.